Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every Rh negative pregnancy.
All right then, the match 2 of the tournament, and it too had a fair amount of excitement and surprises. Telling you, this World Cup has a lot in store for all of us. Bangladesh, making their maiden appearance in the ODI World Cup, have nothing to lose, and the character they displayed today on the field is probably the testimony to that. Don't rule them out just yet. A strong message from the team. So, to discuss the first innings of the match between South Africa and Bangladesh, I have with me Dane and Shathira. Welcome, both of you. Coming first to Shathira, your first thoughts on the way Bangladesh carried themselves on the field today. We'll talk about the batting performances, the bowling later, but just your first thoughts on the way they played today.
It was amazing. Like how they start the tournament. I told you before, like maybe it will be a surprising package, and it happened maybe because in the first match I was telling, like in my prediction time, I told you and Danny that I want them to restrict it in like below 200, but it's almost same 207. And I was telling about the new girl Trishna, and she did very well. Ritumoni did very well, and all the bowlers and the fielders, they did very well, and we're very happy for that.
Yes, so South Africa have put the total of 207 on board. 208 is what Bangladesh need to chase. But before that, coming to you, Dane, Bangladesh has played quite a few matches against South Africa. Nigar Sultana in the press conference also mentioned the same fact. Do you think that was one of the reasons they were able to dominate the proceedings, even if it was their first time in the New Zealand conditions and the lesser amount of matches, ODI matches they played?
Yeah, it was very impressive display from them. In the field, one thing that stood out for me is there was this one ball that spun past the fielder, but I think the fielding was clinical. It didn't look like it was their first World Cup game. That's a fact, and I have to give credit where it's due, and they really brought it to South Africa. And I mentioned at the start the preview of the match, and I said South Africa shouldn't be complacent against the Bangladesh side. We mentioned earlier that they might not feel like they have something to lose, but they've got a lot more to gain. And, beating somebody and really making a strong statement, will go a long way for them in the series, in the tournament. So I think all credit to them. They started off really well, and it has to come down to the experience that they have built against us. But South Africa then don't have any excuses. South Africa has played equal amounts of cricket against Bangladesh, and just kind of looked like the top order at a stage had no answers for their bowlers.
True. And one of the biggest talking point in the match was when we were seeing the action unfold was how the pitch was playing. So then if I have to come to you, what is your assessment of the pitch? Was it on the slower side a bit, the struggle of the batters initially? So your thoughts on the pitch today?
Yeah, it's difficult for me to say anything about the pitch because I'm not there, because it looked pretty good, but I heard the commentators speak about a bit of a thicker grass, a longer grass. So I generally believe if it's a longer, even if you see grass, it might hold up a little bit, it might be a bit slower, and it might give a little bit of turn. But if you look at how Marizan batted and Chloe batted, then you start questioning the pitch, because it looked like there was two different pitches in that innings. You had the top order that struggled, strike rates didn't match up, and then Marizan and Chloe comes in, and they just kind of in that period takes it away from Bangladesh, and it just looked completely different. So in that way I was kind of sitting there going, is there then a difference? What's going on? Like, then the wicket didn't look as slow and as bad as I guess the top order made it look, not taking away from Bangladesh's bowling. They were really good, but Marizan and Chloe did not look like they were struggling to strike at a 90 plus strike rate.
True, it seemed like that the two different matches going on when Tryon and Marizan Cap took the charge of the field. They kind of accelerated a good partnership. They will definitely talk about it in a while. But first of all, let's have a look at the scorecard of the match, the batting and the bowling performances. If we can see how the innings went on for South Africa. So Wilford coming in to open the innings along with Brits 41-8. Like Bangladesh were able to get those breakthroughs more frequently, but even when they weren't able to get those, they made sure that they restricted the flow of runs. So Bangladesh did not allow South Africa to get that momentum earlier before the partnership of KAPP and Tryon happened. So Shatira, coming to you on that, Bangladesh were pretty good on the field, as Dani mentioned earlier. They were good on the field as well. So how do you think they were able to, restrict those flow of runs and did not allow South Africa to take a momentum? Because a batting lineup like that of South Africa and Bangladesh doing the job. Your thoughts on that? Jahanara Alam with the ball. Trishna, as you mentioned, 3 wickets to her account as well.
Yeah, the first thing was the power play. They did very well in the power play. There was a chance in Trishna's bowl, so they missed it. Nahida was a fielder, but it's not a big thing because they have covered it very early. So, like they were trying. What I'll say about the field setup and the bowling, the bowler were doing the ball in the right arena, and the fielder the setup was very good. That I was telling about our captain Nigar Sultana Jyoti. She was a little bit injured, but she didn't went out from ground. She was in the ground, and all the way she was in the ground, and she was running here and there, and she was a little bit like injured. After that also she was giving her 100%. And what I'll say about the field setup and the bowlers, what I'll say, the bowlers have done their work, like where they have to bowl and they have take the right area of fielder. So it happens like when the bowlers will do slow bowling, that was the problem, I think. Because I saw like when Tran came, she was trying to hit hard and hard, and when Ritu Boni and Trishna was bowling, so first few balls she could not hit hard. After that she understand where to play, and they adjust the wicket with the pace of the ball. Then Marison and she got run. So after that they got out. But I was afraid when I saw her strike rate 41 to 50 overs. It was 175, which is the highest strike rate in women's cricket in the world. So I was afraid like in that time she will be very dangerous. But thank to Allah that she got out before that.
Yes. So Wolfart and Brits opening the innings. Initially, Wolfart found a few gaps in the start. Patient knock of 41 from her. What do you make of her innings, Dane? Had she been on there for a longer period of time, it would have made a difference for South Africa.
Yeah, she looked very angry with herself. She hates going out. She loves batting. Her stats show that. So, yeah, I think she started off really well, especially with Tasman that batted really slow and kind of, in a way, put her under pressure to be, I guess, the attacking one and trying to get the run rate up. So, I think under the circumstances, I think Wolfie did really well. I think she'd be upset about the way she went out. It just looked, I kind of know her pretty well, so I know what's going. Well, I've got an idea what's going on in that head. And she's a very talented kid and very hard on herself. And for sure she's gonna let the coach the next game, next training session throw a lot of balls, straight balls at her, because it's not every day she misses I guess her drives. But yeah, it was a very composed innings. Would have liked to see her go on. She looked great. Yeah, in a way, I kind of thought Bangladesh was in trouble the way she was striking it early, and they were kind of hanging it out wide for her. It made it a lot easier for her to get in. But yeah, no doubt she'll feature in the next couple of games. I always tell her that you can't keep a good player down, and certainly she's definitely not a she's not an exception. She'll get into the tournament soon enough.
41 or 52 Laura Wolfart, and Danny is optimistic about her getting good runs in the upcoming matches. And for sure, a player of her caliber, that's what we expect from her. But coming to you, Shatira, as Danny mentioned, that Brits was struggling a tad bit, opened her account on the 19th ball that she played. Trishna then got the advantage of the pressure that was built. So it was all about the pressure that the opening spells, the Jahanara Alam and Trishna built for the South African openers.
Yeah, obviously, they did very well. What I mentioned before, Jahana Alom, like first one over, she did like it was so quick, and they were getting run. After that, when Tishna came, so it was very difficult for them to understand her. She was bowling a little bit slower, so her pace was near about 97, 93, like that. So it was very difficult to get her leg swing. So I think her leg swing was her main strength. That's why no one can understand, because she is very new and no one have her video, and no one can analyze her before this match, I think. So it was very difficult to play a very new player who doesn't have any video footage to the another team. So that was the advantage she got, and the fielders did very well with all the things happen in the power play. That's why Brice was in a bit pressure. That's why she couldn't run actually.
Oh, as an opposition, Danny, how do you look at the bowling of Bangladesh? The first 10 overs, they did not introduce any other seamer there, restricted the flow of runs. That set the entire scene for Bangladesh. The bowlers received good swing. So, as a opposition, if you had been there on the ground, what would have you made of that bowling unit of Bangladesh?
Yeah, again, they were very impressive, and for me, just I always have my captain's cap. It just comes down to, I guess, the preparation and doing your homework and knowing what to expect. Yes, yeah, probably wouldn't have had a lot of footage with the left armor, but you kind of need to find a way. You know, it's international cricket, and if it doesn't go your way, I just felt like Tasman tried to overhit the ball too much. She wanted rather to get the boundaries than actually just getting off strike and finding a way to get off strike, and that's not always just hitting the ball hard. It is sometimes just dropping your hands, maybe putting some fielders under pressure that's sitting on the ring, stuff like that. And I just think. Yeah, again, credit to the bowlers. They did really well, but I also think that South Africa needs to adapt quicker because they're going to be found wanting. You know, 207 for 10, bowled out in an ODI. It's probably not ideal. It's not an ideal start for a batting unit.
Not an ideal start for the batting unit, definitely. But then Goodall coming in at number three looked in pressure initially, and then Salma Khatun got better of her. Salma Khatun is probably a bowler who's probably effective in all the phases of the match. Put her in any situation, and then she delivers for the side. Shatira.
Yeah, obviously, but you say today she did well in the first spell, but in second spell, she gave some runs. But what I was, we were talking before this match that our main strength was spinner. But if you look at the score sheet, 7 out of 10, 7 wickets got the Pacers. Today our Pacers was outstanding, and Nahida Akhtar was our main spinner, but she didn't do very well today. It was the advantage about the all-rounder. Ritu Moni did very well because she is a very good all-rounder. Rumana Ahmed, she did well actually, but Salma Khatun also was very good. But today all the credits goes to Pacers maybe, and that's why I'm afraid now, because South Africa have so many good pace bowlers. So all the pacers are getting advantage for the wicket. They are getting swing, and they are getting wickets. So Bangladeshi batters have to be very safe, and they have to watch the pacers very nicely, I think.
We'll definitely come to the South African Pacers and how the innings is going to unfold for Bangladesh. But before that, the partnership that was looking to build between KAPP and Lees initially, and then Lees was looking good against spin, her ability to play sweep, but then it was an unfortunate wicket of her, and then she departed on Dene.
Yeah, look, shame. It was very unfortunate. It's never nice to go out like that as a batter. I think, Sinead's generally a bit of a slow starter, but the moment she went down on that knee and started sweeping, I thought there's Sunay, there's the confident Sunay that I love watching. And yeah, she's a great player of spin. As I mentioned, she's coming into her own when it comes to top of the order. A really good partnership. I think, yeah, if that partnership went on and she wasn't that unlucky, who would know? It probably, South Africa probably would sit a little bit prettier. But having said that, sometimes teams need that or create that luck as well. Bangladesh
Yes.
Bangladesh was really good leading up to that, and sometimes they create luck, and we've all played the game, and we know that for some reason when things are going well and you're up and about, so, things happen. But yeah, it's the same with Laura. I just think Sunay will definitely feature with the bat. I just like them. I just like the whole batting lineup to just be, or the top order just to be a little bit more attacking. I'm not saying attacking hit sixes, but it just looks a bit timid. It looks a bit unsure, and you can't take so many balls, especially if you look at 8 of 24, 12 of 43. Mignon struck it actually really well. I liked the intent. I think Mignon showed the intent with
Yes.
Sunay there at a stage, and Sunay was also getting in there. So for me, it's just I just want to see these batters. If Laura Goodall takes 43 balls to get 12 runs, she's gonna have to make it count later, and she has to make it up. She can't go out then. And the same with Tasman, because it puts the batting line up under pressure, and the momentum shifts completely. We speak about it, Lazali. Lazali is going to give you momentum, but if you don't have the ability to move it forward, and it's going to come up against Australia and England, and maybe sometimes you might get away with the inexperience of Bangladesh, scoring maybe 208. The game's not done yet. I'm not saying it, it's a done deal, but I'm just saying you can maybe get away with it. But we know Australia, we know England, we know New Zealand, West Indies have been in good touch, India. So you're gonna be found wanting if you keep dropping that. I'm not saying you have to go. You're going at sixes and all of a sudden you have to come in and hit that sixes, but you can't drop it from sixes or fives to two and a halves. It's as a batting lineup, you're gonna put that middle order under pressure. And what if a Marizon Cup or a Chloe Tryon or a Mignon does not come off in that day? What then?
True, and that's what the thing that I would pick from you is the momentum that you get in cricket, and you need to capitalize on that momentum when you get. But then, before I come to you, Dane, about the Cup and Tryon partnership, I'll get to Shatira. Like we all know that Tryon is a big hitter, makes most of the good balls that come her way. But then what we saw probably was the Bangladesh bowlers taking pace off because they know Tryon will come and attack them, but they are a pair which actually put Bangladesh in pressure. Like first time in the match, if we saw Bangladesh was under pressure, it was when the two of them came into bat, and then were building that partnership. So Shatira, if that wasn't the case, like if Bangladesh was that a plan for the Bangladesh bowlers to take pace off? What do you make of the bowling of the Bangladesh unit to KAPP and Tryon?
Yeah, obviously, when South Africa have so many good pacers, then you cannot fight with them with pace bowling. So you cannot beat them with the pace. So you have to reduce your pace. You have to use the swing and everything. And I'll say about the bowling change as well, because how Nigar Sultana changed the bowlers when Jahanara came in the middle overs, then she took the two important wicket, Cap and Trine. Both went for Jahanara's ball, and Jahanara Alam is the most talented player and most senior player. Out of 42 matches, she played 41 matches, so she knows how to take the wicket, and she took it. So I'll say about Jahanara and the captain as well. Both of them work hard, and all the fielders as well. So when they planned about them, and they knows about Cap and Trine, because they have played so many 17 matches with South Africa. Yeah, they doesn't have any kind of weakness, definitely. But it was the moment they took the wicket, and Jahanara Alam bowled very well, and they were trying to hit hard that time, and they reduced the pace, and it was just miss time, and they got out.
That's what my question to you, Shatira, was going to be similar to that only. The way Nigar Sultana captained the team today, the way she used the bowlers, two important wickets, as you mentioned, KAPP and then Tryon of Janara Alam. So that was a benefit for Bangladesh because that were probably minus 20, 25 runs, because KAPP and Tryon departing on means minus 20, 25 runs, Shatira.
Yeah, obviously, because if you follow Bangladeshi cricket, it was our train, like when we'll start our innings, one side the pacers have to start and one side spinners, always it was always. But that have changed now. Now the captain have it all about confidence, because everyone says like now pacers cannot do well in the power play. But it have totally changed. And how the captain keep her faith with the pacers, and she keep changing them, she keep rolling one pacers one side, one spinner, again she keep two pacers in both sides side. And it was all her planning, and how she um, uh, what I'll say, perform in the ground. It was like tremendous. I told you before starting the tournament, like Nigar Sultana Jyoti is going to be the fantastic captain in this World Cup. Maybe it was her starting.
Just continuing the captaincy talks out there, you know that you have those two experienced players in your side in KAPP and Tryon. So coming to you, Dani, on that, they showed good running in between the wickets, made a sort of comeback for South Africa, a partnership that brought a lot of energy on the pitch. And as a captain, as a leader of the side, it's always good to have those players who you can rely on. You know that if they are on the pitch, they're going to get the job done for the team, and that's what we saw today from both of them.
Yeah, they just gave a bit of impetus in the innings. That's something I was really like. It was it's 2 a.m. and I'm sitting here going, "This is I'm gonna fall asleep because there's no impetus within the South African setup and within the batting department today." And then when Marizon and Chloe came in, and I just sat up. I was like, okay, this is. Again, I was thinking, is it a different wicket? Did it, dry out? I don't know, but I just love the fact that they put the fielders under pressure. They ran really hard, and it's not like they took high risk options. They just got off strike. Hitting the sweepers hard, putting the fielders under pressure, and Chloe obviously backing her tremendous strength that she has. That like just incredible natural strength, going up and over and hitting two big sixes, and Marizon just piercing the gap. So it was smart cricket. It was thinking cricket for me when I watched it, and I like watching cricket that way. And not that I say nobody else didn't think, but just that phase, I was thinking. They came in and they summed up this pitch like that. I mean, from ball one. So for me, it was just a bit of a bit of a weird situation when it came to I go again top four. I will say Wolfie batted really well. I'm just talking about those strike rates for me, and that and the momentum that just felt like it got stuck.
Yes. And as you told about the impetus, that's what actually we also enjoyed watching both of them on the field. But I would like to know from you about the competitive spirit of KAPP, because when I was watching the match and then she walked back, she was disappointed. That could be seen when she was crossing the rope and she had a little word with the batter. Probably it was Ismail who was coming into bat, if I'm not wrong. But then she had a little word with that and she seemed disappointed. So your thoughts on the competitive spirit she brings onto the field?
Yeah, she's a massive competitor. She's probably one of the toughest competitors I know. She just always wants to be at her best and always just want to do well for any team she plays, and obviously at the World Cup playing for a country. It's the it's the complete. Yeah, she always wears her heart on her sleeve, and she'll get emotional, and sometimes she won't. It's nice to have somebody like that within your side, because when things are down, um, you've got that strong character, that strong personality that kind of pulls everybody in and say, well, let's go. We have a couple of them, but yeah, if we're speaking specifically about Marizon, she's shown it in the recent past in the 100 final, in the WBBL final. What a competitor she is, and she stands up when it's needed. And South Africa is definitely going to need her to stand up in this World Cup.
Yes. So the thing that I'd like to ask you next is that it would be a big test for Sune now. She's leading the team into the World Cup. You have 208 runs to defend. So your thoughts on that? How is she going to lead the team out there? And For example, if you were in that position, Dane, in the final huddle before you go to take the charge of the field, what is the word that you would have had with the team?
Yeah, I think I've always been a honest person. So what happened with the batting. So yes, I would be saying like disappointed with the whole situation and obviously the performance as a whole. So for me, I'd park it because it has to come up after the game. We need to obviously be honest about that, but it's about going out there and really executing because 208 is realistically not enough runs if you're not going too well and you don't want to be found wanting early. So for me, I just kind of let the team know that they have to pull up their socks and you know bowl their shoes off or their socks off even and pull them up and bowl them off because and field it's just about the execution. And look, Shania has gone really well, and I'm sure she'll make sure that she uses her bowlers really well and read the situation. And South Africa is going to have to come off to a good start because you also don't want to be put under pressure. Pressure does funny things to teams, and we speak about how strong the South African bowling lineup is, but pressure is a funny thing, and they're going to have to start really well and be very clinical to defend this.
Pressure done funny things, but that's a lovely thought. And in a event like that of World Cup, definitely the one who panics last wins the game, as we say it. So, Shatira, coming to you, Bangladesh have 208 to chase. It's not going to be a cakewalk for them, having seen the pitch. Like obviously, KAPP and Tryon looked pretty comfortable there, but watching at the pitch, what we saw that it is not going to be a cakewalk for them facing the pace trio of South Africa in Ismail, Ayabunga Khaka, and then you have Marizan Cap. Your thoughts on how Bangladesh should approach their innings?
Yeah, obviously it will be very difficult, but I think they will have to do the plans how they will manage these pace bowlers, and I believe that they have a plan. But Dennis says that pressure is a funny thing. It Pressure is in Bangladesh team also because they are in pressure also because 208 for them it's a big total definitely, though they're playing their first match, so it's a big pressure thing. What we saw in the fielding in the first power play, they missed a catch, and that time I was thinking about the nerve. It caused nerve. It was a very easy catch, and and she missed it, and she is the best fielder of the team. So they have to handle the pressure. They have to think. They have to run 3.4 something in over, so it's not a big total if they can do the calculation rightly, and they have to be very very calm. They don't need to force for run because it's not a big total. If they will force for the run, that will be a problem, but I think if they can do very good calculation and they have to stay calm, then they can win the match definitely.
So to all our users out there who has joined us, you can always put your questions and we will take them. Our experts are with us. So I guess we have a question for Dane. If you could have that question. Rajeshwari, she says in post-interview, Karp said, pitch is slow. We are going to miss your spin bowling. How strong South Africa's spin attack or it will be more of Pacers attack? Dane.
Yeah, well, if you look at the makeup of the side, there's four pace bowlers, and I said it in the preview of the match. I said I'm fine with it because my Sabata class has been incredible as well, and obviously, we also spoke about the contrast of Bangladesh, obviously being a bit more spin heavy than they are pace, and then South Africa going the other route. Yeah, sometimes it gets me that we say the wicket is slow, but we pick extra pace bowlers. So for me, it's either a tactical thing where we think, South Africa is going to blast Bangladesh out the park with pace, or what was the reason for that extra pace bowler? Because you've got Nonkululeko Mlaba there, the left arm spinner. That is a frontline spinner. So I made the comment that I was just a bit worried about who's going to be the frontline spinner, who's going to take the reins. Just if you look at the previous warm-up games, and if you look at the West Indies series, it was just a bit of a mix and match between Sune and Chloe. Sometimes Chloe would bowl, sometimes Sune will bowl. and vice versa. So for me, it would be Sune, in my opinion, because she's been doing it forever. I just wanted to back herself and obviously do that. But I think South Africa is gonna try and blast Bangladesh with pace. The writing's on the wall with the team that they picked.
Yes. So it is, of course, unpredictable. 208 is what Bangladesh have to chase. After seeing yesterday's match, I'm pretty much sure that we are not passing any judgment until the last ball is played. So probably that's it from the mid show. We'll obviously pick this conversation up in our post match show. So do join in then. Until then, stay tuned to Women's Cricket Zone for all the updates on women's cricket.